Blog Talk Radio.
Women have the power to transform this world. We can end crime and violence if we all agree to do one thing: share. Let's share our wisdom, share our time, share our talents, share our finances, but most of all, let's share our love. This is the Female Solution. Join me, Naima Latif, every morning, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central Standard Time, as we bring you stimulating discussions about the issues affecting our lives. If you're listening online at www.blogtalkradio.com/the-female-solution, press the blue button that says follow and get our daily topics every morning directly to your email and your smartphone. Hi, I'm Naima Latif, Executive Producer of the Female Solution Radio Show. We invite you to call in 515-605-9325 and participate in this daily think tank as we examine the challenges we face and develop solutions that restore peace and harmony. We are global transformers, changing the world from the way it is to the way it should be. We are one. Wherever we live on this earth, we are one human family. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to extend a greeting to all the members of our family, whenever and wherever you may be listening around the world. To our family in China, Ni Hao. In India, Namaste. In Japan, Konnichiwa. In Korea, Annyeonghaseyo. In Russia, Здравствуйте. In Germany, Guten Tag. In Poland, Dzień dobry. In France, Bonjour. In Spain, Hola. In Italy, Ciao. In Egypt, Ahlan wa sahlan. In Ghana, Akwaba. In Nigeria, Peleo. In South Africa, Sawubona. In Senegal, Nangadef. In Kenya, Jambo. In Israel, Shalom. In Pakistan, Afghanistan, and Saudi Arabia, Assalamu alaikum. Greetings, and may peace be upon you all.
Is Monday morning a struggle to get out of bed, into the swing of things? Well, don't worry, you are not alone. Join us for thought-provoking, stimulating, and mindful conversations on higher learning with Zelda Speaks for your Monday morning mindfulness session on Blog Talk Radio, The Female Solution, Mondays, 7:30 until 9 a.m. Be sure and send your ideas, thoughts, comments, and suggestions. Also, if you'd like to be a guest on the show, visit ZeldaSpeaks.com and send us your info. We'd love to have you. Experience mindfulness moments with the mindfulness/stress relief coach, Zelda Speaks. And thanks for sharing the mindfulness moment tip of the day. Stay on purpose, stay empowered, and stay tuned to your next session of Mindfulness on Higher Learning with Zelda Speaks. Make it a mindful day. And thanks for listening.
Grand Rising. Thank you for joining us on another Monday morning edition of the Female Solution, Higher Learning with Zelda Speaks. Well, this is Memorial Day, and today we're going to remember our ancestors and take a look at those who withstood some of the most horrendous degradation, racism hurled at them in the form of a word known as the N-word. Now, we're not even using the word anymore because of its offensiveness. And so it's been called the N-word. But we know that word is nigger. Well, on this Memorial Day, we'll honor those ancestors who have made a difference in the world by the lives they lived. Many came through an era in which they faced hostility and persecution simply because they dared to be excellent. Legendary heavyweight boxing champion Jack Johnson was falsely accused of a crime and stripped of his title, but he was recently issued a posthumous presidential pardon by President Donald Trump. And we heard more about that this past weekend as his niece came into Chicago and spoke extensively on WVON on the Keep Hope Alive radio show with Reverend Jesse Jackson. And, of course, we heard a bit about Jack Johnson's life and what he represented in terms of a deep-seated fear that whites have of powerful black people. Well, Jackie Robinson was also recently recognized an anniversary of his birth. Also recalled a time, the remembrance of him recalled a time when he paved the way for blacks in professional baseball, and the hostility hurled at him whenever he would hit a home run or make a great play. And the question is, why were whites so enraged at his excellence? Again, having that N-word hurled at him because he dared to be great. What are the origins of this racial insult? What irrational fears, resentments, and hatreds are whites holding in their hearts who spew out this word in the hopes of degrading a fellow human being? Well, how do we, as Africans, get beyond the negative connotation of this word so that it no longer has the power to humiliate when hurled at us by others? Well, we want you to join us for Higher Learning with Zelda Speaks. And call in with your comments, 515-605-9325. And press 1 when you want to speak to the host because we want to get your comments. This is a word that has held a sting. And we have often, discovered that when someone else says that word to us, if it is not a person of African descent, then we can feel extremely humiliated. And I apologize to those who receive our morning text. I understand there was a typo in the number. It is still 515-605-9325, and I'll make sure I correct that so that you all don't think there's a new number to call in. But thanks for letting me know that you're paying attention so that I will make sure that those who receive our morning text do get that corrected number. 515-605-9325. And as always, press 1 when you're ready to speak. And, if you listen online, we want you to hit the button that says follow, because that will send you an automatic text every time we schedule a show. You'll get the automatic reminders. So we want you to get that so that you can see the daily topic and call in and comment, and, of course, be prepared with your thoughts as you get that daily reminder of our show. We're excited to be growing, and we're excited to have an opportunity to be on location at various events. Last night we were at the Black Mall Awards, the third annual TBM Awards, and saw some magnificent entrepreneurs being recognized for their work. It was a wonderful event. Congratulations to Cassiopeia Uhuru, founder of theblackmall.com, and all of her staff and people who make this award so excellent. There was a time when a black person going into business and daring to be a prominent person in the community being attacked and castigated for daring to have the boldness to rise above the ordinary, for daring to be an employer and not an employee, for daring to be someone's boss, I guess you could say. Maya Angelou, in her book, I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, she talks about her grandmother in Stamps, Arkansas, who owned the local store. And, if you're the local store owner, everybody depends on you. Everybody has to come to you to get what they need because you stock the merchandise that people use. And she recounts this incident with 3 little white girls came and exposed their private parts to her grandmother as a way of, I guess, insulting her and shaming her, and the anger with which Maya said she felt as a little girl watching that. And the question always becomes, what is in the hearts of people where they feel like they need to humiliate you? And they say or do things. And she noted that the little white girls called her mother by her first name, Annie, and called and her mother, her grandmother, called them, Miss, Miss so-and-so, Miss so-and-so, and the feeling of having her grandmother, an elder, be degraded by these young girls was just overwhelming to Miss Maya Angelou, and she speaks of the rage that she felt. There was a time when a man was never referred to as a man if he was a black man, but always boy, and it was a way to humiliate and degrade. And you'd see grandfathers being talked to with such contempt. Boy, come over here and do this. Boy, do that. And here they are, a man in their 70s, being spoken to by a 22-year-old white man. And the sense of degradation. So the word nigger, the N word, and Big Gregory, he had a book with that title, and he was actually signing copies of it at one of his last appearances in Chicago, and I had an opportunity to get a copy and also give him a copy of the Female Solution. And I believe I posted that photo we took together and recalled how him making that the title of his book kind of forced us to examine that word, its meaning, the emotions that it invokes in us, and how we can get past that feeling of shame when someone hurls it at us so that it no longer has the power to humiliate. Now, some performing artists have said they use the word simply for that purpose. They want to remove the sting. They want to take the power that word has had to humiliate us and degrade us and make us feel we have been minimalized. So they say they use it to empower themselves, to redefine it and make it a term of endearment. So we've heard that argument. Some people say, no, you can't erase history. We know what it means. We know what it felt like when we watched them holler that word at Jackie Robinson when he hit a home run. It's like to say, yeah, we don't care what you do, you're still that N-word, And so being called that word was painful because it means no matter what great thing you do, you're still lesser than me. But does anybody really have the power to make you a lesser human being? Really? Does anybody really have the power to diminish you? Only if you give them that power. And that's what we're going to talk about today when we transition at the 7:30 mark and bring on our Monday host. We want you to think about that. Does anybody really have the power to humiliate you unless you decide to give them that power. Because only you can give the power to someone else to humiliate you. Only you can validate their point of view to the point where it matters whether they like you or not. Only you can do that. No one else can empower someone to make them feel bad. Only you empower people to degrade you. Ignore them. Truly ignore them. That means do not allow your consciousness to focus on their words or actions. Unless, of course, they're threatening bodily harm. But words really can't hurt you unless you give value to the person speaking. And if anyone is saying something insulting, you can choose to give them power or not. Like yesterday in traffic. Now, there was this cab driver, and apparently he was in a hurry or whatever. And I happened to be driving a little slower. You know how it is. You're behind somebody looking for something. Well, I was looking for an address, so I'm slowly. And this person, they're behind me honking. And so, I finally moved over and let them pass. And they zoomed up beside me. And I know this person wanted to holler out some insult. Now, I heard him roll his window down. And I refused to look at him. As a matter of fact, I turned up the sound of my radio. And he hollered something out the window. And I felt him keep standing there, in his car, keep sitting there beside me or driving along beside me rather than zoom on past. I mean, look, you're in a hurry. Why aren't you waiting? You're waiting for me to look over just so you can insult me. That's so stupid. And I felt him waiting, and I purposely kept my face turned the other way. And finally he zoomed off, frustrated that he couldn't insult me. But how silly was that? Now, you're in a hurry, but you want to make a point to holler something insulting at me because you're angry. And you would take time to wait until I turn around and look at you so you could say something, hoping to hurt my feelings. Well, I didn't allow that. I didn't allow that person to invade my consciousness with whatever insulting word they were going to say. And so they had to just swallow their frustration and keep on going. I mean, I heard them holler something, but I didn't. I muffled the sound. I turned up my radio, looked the other way, and, So whatever it was, it didn't penetrate. So how do we choose to not allow for words to penetrate? How do we choose to not value people who use insulting language, hoping to degrade us because of our so-called race? How do we stop hurting at the mention of the enslavement experience? And we talked about this the other day, the fact that when you keep recalling the past, you keep recalling the hurt of the past, you keep reliving the past. And we've had several tapping sessions on this program on Let's Talk About It with Maika, and the whole tapping experience is meant to release negative energy that you're still holding in the very muscles of your body. Your organs are holding negative energy that you have to them every time you have a negative emotion, and that's what causes physical illnesses. So the tapping exercise releases that negative energy that you're storing inside your body from negative emotions. So every time you recall a negative incident, you redirect more negative emotions to your body, and you create physical illnesses. So if a memory is something you keep recalling and it keeps hurting you, why do you keep bringing it up? We talked about, on Saturday, we talked about, isn't it time for us to let those hurtful memories go? Are we continuing to recall past pain to the point where we are re-injuring ourselves? And have we allowed a word to symbolize centuries of mistreatment And have we allowed that word to conjure up old pain and reopen old wounds? What is the origin of the N word? To our Monday morning host, I want to give you a view of a couple of things coming up this week. We talked about an international women's conference, and that we'd be letting you know the day when that will be rescheduled. Well, we're going to hold that conference and have you join us on Facebook Live on Thursday, and this will be June 7th at 2 o'clock. We want you to tune in to us on the Female Solution Facebook page. We have the International Women's International Peace Group that will be in Chicago for the conference entitled The Sound of Peace in Chicago. Nam Hee Kim, who works with International Chairman Man Hee Lee, head of Heavenly Culture, World Peace, Restoration of Light, and he will be addressing a gathering of Chicago leadership on that evening. And those who are in and around the Chicagoland area that have been invited to come will be meeting him at the Willis Tower, formerly Sears Tower, the Sky Deck. We can have a nice view of heaven as we listen to a special message of peace and see some of the notable Chicagoans whose works have been exemplary receive special peace awards from this international leader. And that's going to be 6 p.m. We'll hear more about that on our show Wednesday. But earlier in the day, we're going to have a special strategy session with women, an international women's conference, and we're going to continue to remind you, because we want you to be tuned in. We want you to like our Female Solution Facebook page. We'll be coming to you live at 2 p.m. Central Time to give you an opportunity to participate in our discussion via Facebook Live, or probably also be on my personal Facebook page simultaneously, so that all of you all can be connected and give your comments, because we need to strategize as women globally to ensure that no matter what conflicts arise, we do not allow another war to jump off. We do not allow our leaders to send our sons, now our daughters, abroad to kill people because the leaders disagree. We as a civilized humanity are choosing to use means of conversation and negotiation and reconciliation as a means to resolve our differing opinions. We are choosing not to kill anyone because we disagree. And we are choosing to stop brutal treatment of people. So, this racism thing, Malcolm X was ready to take it to the United Nations, and that's where we are again, having to take this brutality that has not died in America to an international level and deal with the hatred that produces cruelty, meanness, and senseless killing from those who we're paying our tax dollars to protect us. It's human rights violations, and that's an international crime. And we're going to take it to that level so that everywhere it's happening, whether it's Chicago, Los Angeles, New York, Washington, D.C., all of these are places that the international leadership of Heavenly Culture, World Peace, Restoration of Light are traveling to next month in June. And, of course, in the afternoon, 2 p.m., the women's strategy meeting will address ways that we have to change the society. Everything from establishing peace schools, meaning schools in which we're teaching peace to our children, to changing the face of law enforcement. And last night on our show, we did Woman to Woman with Wanda Carter live at the DuSable Museum during the 3rd Annual TBM Awards. And our guests mentioned that the mothers used to be the police, the mothers and the grandmothers looking out the window, making sure that children behave. Well, that's what we need to return to. We need to remove armed police from our community. And we, the mothers, with our moral power, need to be those police. We need to take our rightful place back. Well, let me take, since before we go, and hear from Brother Kufi as we take a look at that N-word. And what do you think we should do when it comes to that particular word that has been considered a word of degradation? Do you think we're giving it too much power? And I know you said we need to identify ourselves as Native people, but, you know, Native people got called some ugly names too. So what are your thoughts on that, and how do we remove the sting of that word?
Well, when I grew up in the 60s, you know, we were under that. You know, we couldn't look at white men in the face, and we just didn't want to create any type of issues with them, because we knew that they had. We were becoming free in America, and they were jealous of that. They were hating of that, because we knew who we were. Some of us knew who we were. Most of us didn't. So when you call that person a nigger, they would go off. But we knew in our tribe, because we were Native, we handled that in a very dignified way, where we didn't. It doesn't matter what you call us. And then we had a term in our tribe saying, well, if you want me to go back to Africa, why don't you go back to Europe? See, that's when it started dying down. That's when all that nigger stuff started dying down, when we started coming back with that information. Well, you go back to Europe, or you go back to the Cape.
Yeah, everybody came here from somewhere.
They couldn't handle that. Then they started saying, man, leave these black people alone, because they're coming back with something. You see, it was a rough time. I mean, I played baseball. I was the only black on the baseball team, you know,
So did you have that Jackie Robinson experience?
I had that Jackie Robinson experience. Yes, I did. And and the way I looked at it is that, hey, we playing the same game. You got 2 hands, you got 2 feet. It doesn't matter whether you colors. You got to hit the ball. You got to use the bat to hit the ball. So we had to use a mental method to get away from the racist, the hatred that they had for us, because we were gifted and we had ability. So we knew that they were just trying to control our talent through going off at us, calling us nigger or doing this or doing that, because they knew we were gifted. They used to always tell me, man, Kufi, why you always trying to do everything like you Superman? I said, wow. This was a white guy told me that. I said, you know what? You are so right. I said, that's what you guys got me doing. You guys got me out here with my A game every day. You know?
Well, and I think there's a certain amount of jealousy.
I'm not letting and black people are trying to bring the era back. I'm not letting it happen. Yeah. All that era in the past, I'm telling my black people today, don't bring it back up. Don't feather it back up. I know Martin Luther King and all that, Malcolm X and all that. We got new leaders. It's a new day. It's a fresh day. So and we all by our habit, we go right back to that civil rights era, that mentality, and we brought it right back into 218. I'm like, wow, look what we're doing. We're doing this to ourselves. That's why you hear. That's why you hear.
It's time for us to let that era go. You say we need to move on and think differently. Yes. Well, I think we're going to take this break, and so that's the thought. We need to perhaps let that go. Are we still singing "We Shall Overcome"? Haven't we overcome yet? And when will we decide that overcoming is in our own hands and not in the hands of someone else? Well, we'll be right back with your Monday host, Zelda Speaks. Join us for Higher Learning with Zelda Speaks as we remember our ancestors and take a look at the origins of that N-word. Are we ready to let go of the hurt? We'll be right back after this break, so stay with us.
You are tuned in to the Soulful Chicago Book Fair 2020 Vision Fundraising Campaign. That's right. You can support the vision of reviving Black literary excellence in this city by simply taking your $20 or more and donating it on our website. Visit www.soulfulchicagobookfair.com and click the Donate tab on our homepage, or give us a call at 646-359-6605, and we welcome you, helping us breathe literary life into the South Side of Chicago.
Are you constantly arguing with your spouse? Are your children misbehaving and acting out? Is someone in your family abusing drugs? Have you been the victim of domestic violence? Are you grieving over the loss of a loved one? Let us help you restore serenity to your life. At Serenity Family Social Services, we understand that good mental health is the result of emotional well-being. Our goal is to assist you and your family in removing emotional distress and restoring harmony and balance to your lives. We offer individual, couples, and family counseling. I'm Howard Williams, CEO of Serenity Family Social Services. Call us today at 312-315-4820. That's 312-315-4820.
Do you want to live in a world without war? Join our global peace movement. Heavenly Culture World Peace Restoration of Light transcends culture, religion, ideology, and other boundaries to achieve peaceful harmony in the global society. HWPL is committed to bringing world peace and cessation of war through peaceful dialogue between religious groups. I am Director Shin-Suk Kim of the HWPL Chicago branch of North America. Join us for our next gathering. Call 773-580-1501 and be a part of the movement for world peace. Email us at chicagohwpl@gmail.com.
What happens when a group of people are kidnapped from their homes, smuggled away in chains, and held captive in a foreign land where they are tortured, raped, and forced to perform hard labor by the lash of a whip and under the constant threat of death? Slavery, the African American psychic trauma. What happened to the doctors, writers, scientists, builders, educators, and spiritual leaders from Africa's golden age? Who did they really capture and sell into slavery? Are all African Americans suffering from psychic trauma because of a conspiracy to hide their true identities? Do you have psychic trauma? Take the test on page 22 of the book and see. Order it online today at www.naimalatif.com. That's www.naimalatif.com. And get your personally autographed copy of the book, Slavery, the African American Psychic Trauma.
Grand Rising. And thank you for joining me this morning on Higher Learning with Zelda Speaks on the Female Solution. Welcome to Monday Morning Mindfulness to start your week off with mindfulness stress relief sessions. Now, I am not quite sure how much stress will be relieved this morning because there will be a debated, heated conversation. So maybe after today's session, you can go somewhere and get your sweat on to relieve even more stress because this is the day that we are reminded of those who came before us to make our way special. And one of the things that we'd like to point out, I love what our executive producer said, Naima Latif. It's not what they call us, it's what we respond to. Do other people really have power over us, and have we given away our power? Just a little food for thought there. And today's guest is the ancestors. So today when you call in, I ask that you name one or two or three of the ancestors who have gone before you and made your way possible, because we are standing on the backs of greatness for those who traveled and worked and slaved for little or no pay. And because of that, we are here benefited from it. And I salute my parents, even though I didn't know who my father was. I knew his name. So Katie and Al Robinson, Bob and Miss Willie Pitchford, my grandparents, and my Aunt Edna, who took care of me when my mom passed, my Aunt Edna and my Aunt Julie. And I have to give thanks for Baba Dick Gregory and my favorite poet, Dr. Maya Angelou. If you're listening this morning and you're online, feel free to send in your questions or comments. If you're on social media, Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, I'm at Zelda Speaks, so any of those. And also today's trivia prize, if you would like to participate, we have a prize for you, the 21-day mindfulness practice home journal, the Mindfulness Stress Relief 21-day home practice manual. It's a journal. Or the Innovative Mindfulness Belief System. It's an audio program that you can listen to in your car or at home or wherever you're at. And do keep in mind, we're always looking for health ambassadors. I'm working with the Higher Learning Network, if you want to make money. Helping people reverse type 2 diabetes, go to diabeticdonut.com, and we're always looking for people who like to shop, make money on Amazon, with ZeldaSpeaks.com. You can click on training under ZeldaSpeaks.com. The Higher Learning Network is one of the organizations we work with to help them. They teach children behind-the-scenes radio, television, and print production, and this is one of the organizations that we're working with that help them make money for their nonprofit. So if you have a business or an entrepreneur and just want to earn some extra money, you can do that. And remember to set those DVRs for the Higher Learning Network TV show, which airs Tuesdays at 6, Wednesdays at 1 on Channel 19, or 24/7 on the World Wide Web, higherlearningnetwork.org. And as we continue, always with a spiritual reading before our meditation session this morning. Today is a Monday, as we are told on the Roman calendar, but others know different. May 28th, as taken from the book Inspirational Conversations, Volume 2, with Shalom Israel. And it says, as we prepare for another Memorial Day holiday, let us remember that why there's a holiday in the first place. Labor in this country came at a cost to our foreparents. Many of the benefits we enjoy are on the backs of our great-great-great-grandparents and great-great-grandparents. So keep in mind that as you go about your holiday, visiting relatives, eating good food, drinking, and especially driving, someone came before us, clearing the bushes, laying gravel, paving roadways, constructing buildings, and so on and so forth. They did not have the modern conveniences we have now. So let us be generous in our labor and help someone who doesn't have the same amenities that we have. Let this holiday be of good memories. Love yourself and your fellow man, woman, enough not to jeopardize their life or yours. That means no texting, no drinking while driving. Happy Memorial Day weekend for those who are celebrating the Memorial Day weekend. We give thanks that we are still here, and the fact that we are still here is a good sign that there's more work to do on our part. We didn't just wake up to go to school or to go to work and work a job that we hate or a job that just pays the bills. We are here for a reason. And it's our responsibility to find out what that reason is. And until we find out what that reason is, we just don't go along with the program. We get quiet daily and ask the Creator to move, think, and have its being in, through, and around us. And that is what we will do now as we begin our morning meditation session. So I simply ask that you close your eyes, sit up straight, feet flat on the floor, nothing in your hands. And as you close your eyes, the only thing that you should be looking at is the inside of your eyelids. I see the smile on your face, and it looks good on you. So remember to smile throughout the day, especially when you're not feeling 100, as the children would say. Because when you smile, you are sending a signal, just as your breath, you're sending a signal to the brain that sends signals to the rest of the body that something is right in your world, something is working. That could possibly be your brain, which is constantly sending signals to the rest of your body. So let us begin to send more signals to the rest of our bodies with the breath, because it is the breath that we must become conscious of so that we can move and shift our inner energy in a different direction when we are not feeling 100. We will begin the process by counting to 6, holding it for a hot second, and then releasing it. And we will try and breathe through the nose if possible, because it oxygenates not only the inner organs, but beginning with the breath, it goes through the nostril cavity and the throat, and we want to energize all of that. So let us begin as we inhale deeply to the count of 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold it. And exhale through the nose. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale deeply. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold it. And exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Continue breathing through the nose. Inhale deeply. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold it. And exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And continue counting to yourself as you breathe in through your nose, giving thanks for the breath that keeps you here. Giving thanks for the breath that calms you down in times of nervousness, in times of anxiety, in times of fear, lack, and limitation. Continue breathing, knowing that you are at the right place, at the right time, doing the right thing. Especially when it appears that you are not. Because at some point you may say to myself, how did I get here? Why am I here? It's okay. It's all part
of the journey. It's all a part of the learning experience. Inhale deeply. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold it. And exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale deeply through the nose. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold it. And exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And as you continue to count to yourself, inhaling, know that every breath that you inhale, you are energizing and sending a different kind of vibration to every cell, mucus, membrane, artery in your body. And your body gives thanks because it knows that you recognize the truth of the matter. And the truth is in the breath. The fact that you are breathing in and out and you have the capacity to breathe on your own is a blessing within itself. You do not need help from a respirator. You're hopefully not flat on your back on a respirator. And if you are, it's okay to have help. Life is in the breath. Peace is in the breath. Love is in the breath. Understanding is in the breath. God is the breath. Inhale deeply, giving thanks for the breath. As you release, let go and let God. Inhale deeply. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold it. And exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This time as you inhale, give thanks for the nose, the mouth, the throat, the liver, the lungs, the pancreas, the spine, the spleen, the scrotum, the legs, the thighs, the ankles, the knees, the feet, the toes, and the energy in and around all of the limbs and the muscles and the fibers and the tissues, and yes, the cellulite. Give thanks for the cellulite. It all came to teach us a lesson. Inhale deeply. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold it. And exhale, releasing all negativity, all thoughts of lack, all thoughts of limitation, all thoughts of fear and anxiety. Release, let go, and let God. Inhale deeply. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold it. And exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One more long, deep inhale. Hold it. And exhale. Inhale one more time. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And this time as you exhale, stick your tongue out. And exhale. Inhale deeply. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And as you exhale, I release, let go, and let God. And as you breathe in, repeat the words to yourself or out loud. I am happy. I am healthy. I am whole and complete. Exhale deeply, release, let go, and let God. Inhale deeply. I am happy. I am healthy. I am whole and complete, despite the aches and pains I may incur, because the body that I have regenerates itself on a daily basis. And I give thanks. And as we go about our day, keep breathing. Remember that the two most powerful words on the planet are I and am. I am happy. I am healthy. I am whole and complete. Repeat those words throughout the day, especially if you don't feel like it. Because when you repeat the two most powerful words on the planet, you are giving life to the words that you bring into your existence. Know that it is your words that have energy that you give to the world, that you give to yourself, and what you experience. You are in control of your energy and the energy that is around you as you continue breathing. Inhale deeply to the count of 6, hold it, and exhale, releasing all negativity, all thoughts of lack, limitation, and fear. Take one more long deep breath and inhale and hold it. And as you exhale, bring your head forward slowly, chin to chest, and begin to rotate your head to the left, slowly, 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 slowly bringing it around to the back. If you're already at the back, you're moving too fast. Slow down. And you should just be reaching the back, slowly bringing your head over to the right, slowly, 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 bringing it around to the front, slowly, slowly, still breathing, slowly, chin to chest, and slowly bringing your head back around to the right, slowly, a bound to the back, slowly, you're moving too fast, still breathing slowly, just getting to the back and slowly bringing it around to the left, still breathing, inhaling and exhaling. And you should just be getting it to the left, feeling the small increments in your neck. You may even feel a little pop here or there, and it's okay. Slowly bringing your head back around to the front, chin to chest, head up, and take a long, deep inhale. Hold it, and exhale. We're going to take one more and take a long, deep inhale. Hold it, and exhale. Your last long, deep inhale for this session. Inhale deeply, and exhale, release, let go, and let God. You are now in a state of well-being that you put yourself in, that you can do any time of the day, anywhere, especially when you are confronted with a challenge, with negativity, with criticism. You simply breathe. You don't have to go through the head rolling exercise. You do not have to say anything out loud. You simply breathe. And you breathe so deep and so hard, people will think you are crazy. People will think that something is wrong with you, and that's okay, because what other people think about you is really none of your concern. So you continue breathing, inhale and exhale deeply in a time of chaos and confusion, or when you just need to feel better. You simply breathe because you can, because someone came before you, the ancestors that you will name when you call in today, and you will speak their names and let them know that you remember them through the breath, because you have taken the time to breathe this morning, and you give thanks that you are here. And it's possible. It's made possible by the breath that they took that allowed you to be here this morning. Inhale deeply and exhale. And as you call in this morning, If you just joined us, welcome to Monday Morning Mindfulness on the Female Solution, Higher Learning with Zelda Speaks. Starting your week off with your mindfulness stress relief session. You can call in. If you're on social media listening online, you can send your questions or comments via Facebook, Zelda Speaks, Twitter, and Instagram. And if you'd like to call in, the number is 515-605-9325. And remember to press 1 so that when you're ready to speak, we want you to be able to speak, because sometimes I forget to say that you need to press 1. That's 515-605-9325. And I'd like to play a video clip of a young man who was on The Breakfast Club, which is a very popular radio show, and it's talking about the N-word. And if we are to get beyond this, we have to recognize a few things. So I would like you to listen to this and enjoy it.
Dislike for the word nigger. And Oprah has talked about it, and it's been a big debatable topic among, people in television and music. What is your thought on the use of the word nigger?
I'll tell you this, I don't support it like I used to. And that's because of the responsiveness from the people. I will tell you, though, because I'm into etymology, that all throughout the course of Africa, like even in the Bible, they call Simon Bar, Jesus, a nigger. We might say Niger or Niger, how we want to do it, but it's pronounced nigger, right? Simon Bar, Jesus' brother, is called a nigger in the Bible. Okay, there's the book of Acts chapter 13, but that's another story. Then you have a country called Niger, or nigger, but they call it Niger, right? And if you go to Ethiopia, nigger is a title of nobility that denotes an Ethiopian sovereign. It's pronounced nigger. And so when white people came to colonize, they couldn't stand us niggers because we were kings. Niggers were kings. They hated niggers. And they hated niggers so much that when they incapacitated us, when they subjugated us, it took on a negative connotation because they didn't like niggers. So they enslaved niggers. And so these niggers that were kings got on their nerves. So anytime they saw a black person, we reflected or demonstrated that sovereignty. And eventually, we cringed at being called a nigger because the affliction associated with the terminology. Now, does this give us license to call each other nigger now? That's where I think the debate is, if I understand the history of the word. But I understand in its colloquial meaning, as far as present day is concerned, it's a destructive term. Because we don't put the onus on each other to understand the history of the word, to know how it should resonate with us when it's said. But if we don't go into the history, then I'm a real nigga. It's in my genes.
Well, that is from a rapper by the name of Brother Polite. He breaks down the history of the word, and it's his best explanation of the N-word. And there are generational differences. But what I appreciate most about this young man, Brother Polite, is that he is serious about his thoughts. He has not just came up with some idea. He has done his due diligence, so to speak, etymology. Did you hear him mention that word, the origin of the word and where it came from? How many of us ever heard that before? So I want you to take that into consideration this morning as you call in with your thoughts, 515-605-9325, and press 1 to speak. But right now we're going to take a quick break. We have vital information for you. And remember when you call in to mention the ancestors, your ancestors who made it possible for you to be here today, and you think that video clip was something, you wait until we come back. This is really going to blow you away. So get pen and paper together and call somebody and let them know this is a Memorial Day weekend you do not want to miss. Share the number, 515-605-9325. And a very special thank you to our executive producer, Naima Latif, of the Female Solution on Higher Learning with Zelda Speaks, your Monday morning mindfulness stress relief session. And we will be right back. And thanks for listening.
Hi, this is John Alexander.
And I'm Naima Latif. Meet people like you who are making a positive difference in the world.
Big difference.
Watch us every day on The Media Connection at www.youtube.com/The Media Connection TV.
YouTube it. We'll see you soon.
There are people who choose to make a positive difference in the world. Our job is to bring you their stories to motivate you to do the same. Join us each week, host John Alexander and Naima Latif, as we bring you the educators, entertainers, elected officials, religious leaders, and community activists whose works are transforming this world. Find out how you can make a difference too. Be inspired. Watch The Media Connection.
Mondays at 5 p.m. and Tuesdays at 12 noon on Cable TV, Channel 19 in Chicago. And other cities, check your local cable listings.
Do you need to borrow money to buy or fix a house? Call Spartan Holdings, LLC, Real Estate Investment and Consulting. We'll help you build your individual and corporate credit so you can get the money you need to pay for whatever you want, from home improvement to business equipment. I'm John Worthy, CEO of Spartan Holdings, LLC, a veteran-owned business. Call us at 773-869-5805. Again, that's 773-869-5805, or you can reach me via email at spartanholdingsllc, the number 64, at gmail.com. Thanks.
Hi, this is Beata, your holistic life coach. Every Friday morning, I'm on the Female Solution. I'm also blogging live every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Soul Purpose Healing, where I help you get back into alignment with the Creator's love, compassion, and wisdom. On Sunday, you can call in at 215-383-5863 or go to www.blogtalkradio.com/soulpurposehealing. When I'm not doing spiritual adjustments on Blog Talk Radio, I'm helping clients reduce the stress in their lives with EFT, essential oils, and cost-saving health plans like Ameriplan. Ameriplan is a better way to save money on your health care expenses. There is more information on how to contact me at www.yourholisticlifecoach.com. Till then, stay in joy.
And thank you for joining us this morning on Blog Talk Radio, The Female Solution. Higher Learning with Zelda Speaks, your Monday morning mindfulness. If you'd like to call in this morning, 515-605-9325. And remember to press 1. We do not know to open your mic if you do not press 1. Now, I hope you enjoyed the first clip that we played from Brother Polite, rapper. And he just gave me whole new insight into the rap game. Because, you know, back in the day with LL Cool J and Kool Moe Dee, they were conscious rappers. And it seems as if rap was given a bad name because it went in another direction where it was demeaning women and just people as a whole, just a general insult. Well, there are still some who are conscious, and that Brother Polite is one of them. And he has another one. It doesn't pertain to the subject today of honoring the ancestors, so I'll play that at another time. But right now, I'd like to share with you a video clip that I discovered from, one of my fellow skaters. I should say one of my fellow bid whist players, because I can't skate anymore, but I can play bid whist. And she may or may be listening on the line today. I'm not sure. I call her Wonder Woman. And we were having a conversation. We're playing bid whist, as we always do, and in the middle of the game, I don't know what the I don't even remember what the conversation was about, but we stopped playing cards because the conversation got so deep. And any of you who are listening who play bid whist, you know we can talk and play cards. You do not stop playing cards and start talking. That's just not how it happens in bid whist. But this conversation was so stimulating and so interesting and so out of the box. I mean, it takes you out of your comfort zone in your thinking, that she shared this information with me, and I am like, OMG, we have got to have this information on the show, because we have been taught one thing. Let me back this up. We have been told so many lies, and our eyes are slowly being opened, and for the most part, most of us will not accept it because of whatever reasons, fear, doubt, whatever, programming, and that's what this is all about. So let me let you hear this young sister who is off the chain, and I want you to write this down, because after you hear this, you will say to yourself, why? Why am I just learning this? So, get your pen out. Her name is Dr. Yafa Bey. Y-A-F-F-A, Bey, two different words, B-E-Y, Dr. Yafa Bey. And this video, which is on YouTube, you can simply go on YouTube and type up her name, and you'll see a whole slew of videos. And Dr. Yafa Bey, this video is 3 hours long. Of course you won't hear it. I'll let you hear a little excerpt, but you've got to do your own due diligence. Excuse me. This one is entitled Dr. Yafa Bey, Blacks Are the Real Indigenous People of USA. Stolen Identity, Frauds, and Lies. She's had over 1 million views, and you have got to hear this. Now, mind you, that we don't use vulgar language here on Higher Learning, but sometimes a little vulgar language really sends the point home. But I want you to hear this. Just excuse her language sometime, but hear the message. Don't confuse the messenger with the message. Enjoy this.
We have people saying, y'all ain't no damn Americans. Y'all ain't no damn Americans. Y'all from Africa. Be proud of Africa. Be proud that you're black.
Now, see, this is what happens when the truth is about to be told. The video, you know how it goes around in a little circle because it's trying to stream, and the powers that be just don't want you to know this. So what I'm going to do is pull up another browser and see if we can't make this happen, because what this sister is saying is ruffling some feathers, and chances are those feathers.
Dynasty Radio.
Yeah, she has her own radio show, and of course, that's what you're listening to. This is from her radio show. So I'm going to let you hear this.
It's not going to be complete, but I have to start with this, just so that we can have something to start with, because I want you guys to be able to look at something. Now, it's not there yet. Just give me a second to upload it. But there's a lot of talk about All you niggas always trying to take somebody else's nationality, identity, and culture. Now, my listeners that are caught up, this is not news to them. This is not going to throw them out the box because they already know who they are. They've done their due diligence. They're not really trying to hear what these other crazy people have to say about who they are because they know who they are, and nobody can tell them anything different or otherwise. But this post, I don't even know if I'm going to leave it up or if it's just going to be up here just for tonight and for the people that are here, because I would have to leave it up incomplete until I get an opportunity to get around to fixing it and or resolving it. So we have people saying, y'all ain't no damn Americans. Y'all ain't no damn Americans. Y'all from Africa. Be proud of Africa. Be proud that you're black. First of all, nobody can have any shame about what you currently identify as Africa. So you goddamn big ass skull. There's nothing to be ashamed of Africa about. But that's like saying, when my people say things like, well, we're not African, and people turn around and say shit like, you're ashamed of Africa. If I sit up here and say I'm not a Viking, does that make me ashamed of being a Viking if I'm not one? Now, granted, a lot of people, especially in the Americas, particularly those whose so-called families have been around for a while, do fall into what they call mixed ancestry, okay? So I want you guys to go to my website real quickly at yafabay.com. Log in to Y like yellow, A, F, F, A, B like Baker, E, Y. And I don't know if I'm going to put this in on Facebook or not. I just don't know, because right now I got so much to do, that I don't know how much I can get into creating this particular post. For people that are getting their little dossiers, I'm definitely putting this type of stuff in the dossier. But the last thing, if you look on the right at yafabay.com, again, that's YAFFA, and that's F like Friday, B like Baker, EY.com, yafabay.com, at my website. It'll bring you to the home page. It should be American Autochtons Come Here to Get Clarity. On the right, it'll say Recent Posts. Click on the post that says Shunned Americans, or Shunned Americans, my bad. Under Shunned Americans, I only had an opportunity to throw up 4 photos. There's no article, there's no text, there's no writing. Now, the very top of this picture, you should see a post come up, and it'll show 4 pictures. 3 of them are paintings or portraits, and 1 of them is a photograph. The portrait at the top is from the year 1798, and it is called An Emblem of America. Now, at the top of this photo, with this emblem of America, you see an autochthonous American, copper-colored, and according to Dr. Huxley, who back in the day was a champion of so-called Indians, out of the Ancient and Modern Briton, Briton, it's a book, 2 volumes, that I don't recall which volume, written by what a so-called white guy, which, unless you're colorblind, these people are not so-called white. The thing that I look at and identify as so-called white, I have never seen anyone with this alabaster-colored, so-called white-looking skin yet. And if I do, I would probably think I'm looking at a ghost. But most of the people that are currently identified as white are some various shade of called American Indians, red back in the day. According to the book Ancient and Modern Briton, Dr. Huxley said by red they meant chocolate brown in color. Okay? Now, at the top of this Shunned at Home flyer, there is a copper-colored or chocolate brown in color, autochthonous American with their bow and arrow standing up here on what a picture called An Emblem of America from the year 1798. If you look to the lower left or center left, there's an actual photograph. This photograph is a picture of the American Pima Indians of Arizona in 1904. Now, I don't know, when you go to bring up these modern day pictures of the so-called damn Indians, you bring up all this other crazy stuff of all these foreign-ass people telling you that you're not at home, because most of our people are not aware of the fact that the American Indians, so-called Indians, have been Africanized, and the foreign Europeans have been Indianized or American Indianized. So they traded places yet again. When you do your due diligence, you will find it. Now, granted, it is not a well-known fact that it is our ancestors or ancestors that these people found here when they showed up, but it is an extremely well-documented and well-established one. It is let me say it again, it is a well-documented, well-established fact that all they found in the Americas were copper-colored, chocolate brown races of people that when they showed up. It is just not a very well-known fact, but it's well-documented and well-established, and anyone that is serious that makes an effort to do their due diligence will find the validation they're looking for about who the hell was here when these people showed up. Now, they are living better than if you know their history and the suffering and torment and torture those people went through, not at the hands of autochthonous American, but at the hands of pale complexion people, many of whom were with the church, and a lot of so-called melanin people in other places, but not necessarily here. They did suffer, and they were horrendously treated and very badly traumatized and abused.
And that trauma still exists today. We are still experiencing the trauma of the days when we were in bondage and slavery, and in many ways we are still in slavery, emotionally, mentally, psychologically. We are still in trauma. That was Dr. Yafa Bey, a YouTube video. It's 3 hours long. I've been listening to it in parts. It is so informative. Dr. Yafa Bey, Blacks are the real indigenous people of the USA, stolen identity, fraud, and lies. She's had over 1 million views. And remember I told you I was on another browser? That browser is still going around in circles. I'm not going to tell you how I pulled it up, but I pulled it up. That's all you need to know. So do yourself a favor and listen to that video. Now, I know some people are going, Indians? We're not Indians. Well, is that right? Okay. We have had one of the most outstanding young men who I heard say that probably a couple of months ago on the Female Solution. And his name is Brother Kufi. And Brother Kufi is a man who is so passionate that sometimes when he speaks, your ears, because of your programming, and I'm speaking of myself, it comes across as anger. Because the first time I heard him speak, I was like, wow, he's got a lot of anger pent up in him. And why did I think that? Because that has been my experience. When I hear men speak in that tone, they have usually been angry. But then a thought popped into my head and said, Les Brown speaks like that too, and that's who my mentor was when I first started in the speaking industry. And he said, but I know not anger is coming from a place of passion because he's serious about this. So Dr. Kufi has taught me an unexpected lesson on judgment because all my life I've been quick to judge. So I want to thank Brother Kufi for giving me that indirect lesson. If you live, you'll learn. And if you'd like to share this morning, continue the process of learning, and I'll play more of this later. But right now we're going to open up the lines, 515-605-9325. Press 1 to speak. And our executive producer, Naima Latif, wanted to speak on this morning. Naima, your thoughts, comments, suggestions as we continue the conversation?
Well, a number of people.
Mm-hmm.
A number of people may remember the book "They Came Before the Mayflower" by the late Lerone Bennett. And in our book, Slavery to African American Psychic Trauma, of course, we have documented the travels of Africans from the continent to America long before Europeans were traveling by ship. But then also in the book, the last book by my late husband, Sultan Abdul Latif, entitled When Nations Gather, on the back we've got a picture of an Olmec head. And if you've seen the Olmec, they have wide noses, wide lips, the classic, what they call Negroid features. And we say, is this a sign from the past? Are these stone statues proof that Africans from the ancient Egyptian empire came and settled in America? Did the first Europeans arrive on the shores of America to find a large native population of African descent? Well, of course, that answer is yes, they did. And if we can expand our thoughts and understand that the history we've been given of the world, of our faults, then we can recognize that there are many hundreds of thousands of years of Earth history that we are not taught. And so even if one were to go toward calculations as presented by the Bible, 6,000 years of history, and then you look at artifacts that date back tens of thousands, then you know that the mathematics is wrong and that we've been here a long, long, long time. And there was one point in time, if you have studied geography, where all of the land masses were connected, and then they broke apart. And then we had some that sunk into the ocean, Atlantis and Lemuria. Those are two continents that, because of atomic wars, sunk into the earth. And mankind has been much more advanced technologically than we are today. This is not the most advanced civilization we've ever had. We have not even begun to discover the technology that was used to build the pyramids. So when it comes to knowing the reality of human travel across the earth, the stone structures from ancient civilizations are monuments that give us an undeniable history and a reality of human travel that goes far beyond what we're taught in our European version of world history, which is quite in error, it's quite false, it's quite limited, and it's limited because Europeans had this long history of what we know as the Dark Ages, and it was dark for them because they were suppressing knowledge, and the ages in which other parts of the world were going through an enlightenment were ages when Europeans were inflicting torture on people and beheading people, and you had the knights with their battles and all of that really signified repressed knowledge and suppression of knowledge. The growth of what became the Christian church was really old political structures that destroyed and reworded the teachings of Jesus, which was an enlightened teacher, and made it to be one of cruelty and suppression. And they took that philosophy and took it all around the world and forced people to adopt it and forced their wrong knowledge and wrong accounting of history and wrong accounting of time on everybody. But the fact of the matter is, as the sister said, we've been here. We've been here for centuries, like Ruby's been saying, and like we outlined in the book, When Nations Gather, the fact that the people of Africa all around the world, and this is what Columbus found when he came here. He found African people, and he found people who had a higher culture and a more advanced culture than what Europe had. And so this is the lie that we have swallowed. And because Europeans forced people to teach in their schools that Europeans were the ones who started everything, then we allowed our children to believe that lie. But it's our responsibility to undo the lie. It's our responsibility to stop teaching from those outdated books and that outdated information and that wrong information. It's our responsibility to correct the true knowledge of human history and the reality of the vastness of time in which we have been here and have been advanced in our culture and our technology far beyond what Europeans have been able to achieve. And then we got to rise to even higher consciousness and realize that we're all just one species of life, and that is an expression of the Creator, regardless of what color the body that we're in. So when we get to that point, then we can let it go. We can let go all of the racial designations and, well, the body I'm in is better than the body that you're in. At some point, we got to rise to the understanding that we are eternal spirits having a temporary physical experience inside a body that is made up of substances of the earth, and it doesn't really matter which part of the earth it came from. The first the life. Yes, ma'am.
Teach my sister. That is the executive producer of the Female Solution, and that is why she is the executive producer of the Female Solution. Higher Learning with Zelda Speaks, because not only does she teach it, talks it, she walks it. And the fact that you broke it down so simple where anyone, a second grader, can understand that, because everything was all one thing, and then there was a power struggle. And that power struggle not only affected land mass, but body mass as well, because we've got an identity crisis. We don't know who we are. We don't know because we don't take the time to get quiet and to listen, because there's so much external noise out there that keeps us occupied. We're glued to our phones and other areas of entertainment, and that's really all it is entertainment, because if we have to learn the truth, that means we're going to have to get quiet. And it's very painful sometimes for people to get quiet, because we are so conditioned to always be occupied, to have some kind of noise around us. And not judging, just simply making an observation. And if you have an observation you'd like to share when we come back from our commercial break, we'd love to hear what you have to say. And remember the ancestors when you call in as well, to give us the names of those who have gone before you and made your way better, remembering the ancestors this Memorial Day weekend. And I always have to give kudos to my big brother, Patrick Bradley, who today, just by his presence of him being an electrical draftsman lead electrical draftsman at ComEd over 4 years ago. He made his transition in December. He is responsible for the redesign of Lakeshore Drive, because I remember one day I had my car turned around. I'm heading south on Lakeshore Drive at Randolph. Car just turned around in the middle of the street. Don't ask me how. It just happened. God was trying to get my attention. But he helped straighten out the curve, the redesign of State Street, and the Sears Tower, which is now known as Willis Tower. And if you go to higherlearningnetwork.org, and scroll down, you'll see Patrick Bradley. My interview with him in my car, because I could never catch him. So I said, one day I'm going to get him. We're going to do this interview on the phone, because I could never get him to the studio. He was always busy. And I was like, okay, I got something for you today. So we did the interview in the car. And you can also go to YouTube and type in Patrick Bradley what does it say? Patrick Bradley interview. Oh, and there's one. Yeah. There's one called. It escapes my memory. Oh, St. Patrick's Day party. Patrick's party, 1/11/2018. Patrick's party, 1/11/2018. That's January 11th, 2018. And there's a partial interview there as well. It's on YouTube, and so be sure and check it out. But we will be right back. Call in with your questions. Press 1 so that we know what you want to speak. 515-605-9325 and press 1. Today's subject is remembering the ancestors and how the N-word has affected us all. And if it has, we'd like to know. So call in and let us know. And we'll be right back. And thanks for listening.
Oh, man, God sent the monthly sun bill today. This sunlight is really expensive, especially during this season. I'll probably have to work overtime to pay it.
Well, you better pay it on time. We don't want the sun to go out and we're sitting up here all day in the dark.
Wouldn't it be terrible if God charged us for sunlight? Well, thank God, the light and heat from the sun is free. So why are we paying such high bills for the energy we use in our homes? Because we don't know how to use solar energy, the free energy from the sun. You can convert your regular home to a solar energy home and save tremendously on your electric bill. Take a look at your electric bill. Wouldn't you like to reduce or possibly even eliminate that cost altogether? Let one of our solar consultants show you how. Call today, 312-849-3456, and schedule a free consultation. That's 312-849-3456.
Hi, this is Maika, and I want you to join me every Thursday, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. And let's talk about it. There are so many interesting things to talk about, and we have many thought-provoking discussions. We have amazing guests on the show, and you'll find real transparency, a really peaceful environment, also a healing environment as we do EFT and other healing modalities to bring ourselves into congruence and balance. It's also a child-friendly environment. And we have an open mic. All you have to do is press 1 to be heard and to say what you have to say. No fear, no fake, real truth. That's what you'll find on my show. Visit our archives at The Female Solution on Blog Talk Radio and listen to past discussions that are intriguing. Call 505-615-9325. Invite a friend and listen in, and I'll see you then on Blog Talk Radio. Let's talk about it with Maika every Thursday.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm Kareem Hamid.
And I'm Sister Manira Habil. Join us every Wednesday from 6 to 9 a.m. Central Standard Time on the Female Solution Radio Show as we, along with our host, Naima Latif and the American Muslim 360 family, discuss ways to improve our relationships with our spouses, our children, and our loved ones in order to build a stronger community.
Call in and comment at 515-605-9891 and press 1 when you're ready to speak. We want to hear your thoughts.
Assalamu alaikum.
We have an opportunity to transform the whole global society in the next 50 years. 50 years from now, the earth will be populated by a new generation of adults, many of whom are yet unborn. Our mission is to nurture them in childhood with love, guidance, and protection, and to raise them in healthy, happy families. If we impart values of compassion, generosity, and respect for fellow human beings in the next generation of children, they will create a world where people can live together in peace. This is our goal. Be a part of the transformation. Get your copy of the book, The Female Solution. Go to www.naimalatif.com. That's www.naimalatif.com.
And we are back on The Female Solution, Higher Learning with Zelda Speaks, celebrating the Memorial Day weekend as we remind ourselves of who we are and the possibilities of the truth being shared this morning and how it affects us all. We're going to go to open the lines up at 515-905-6325. Press 1 to speak. And we have Mama Z on the line. Welcome to Monday Morning Mindfulness, Mama Z. Thank you so much for joining us.
Grand Risings, and thank you for having me. Thank you for all that you do, Dr. Latif, all that everybody does to put on this show. I'll make this as possible. I give honor to my parents who have gone on before me, Robert Paris or Bob Paris, and my mom, Maddie Paris, Maddie C. Cunningham Paris, because without those two individuals, the units of people, I wouldn't be here to experience you again, Dr. Latif, Brother Kofi, everybody that's involved in my life. So I give honor no matter what. I encourage everybody, no matter what history, what journeys that they've had with parents, because we chose them. And you must look at why. What did you learn from this episode? And I want to make a point, and I'm not giving kudos just to be giving kudos. But Dr. Latif's book, meaning Dr. Latif's husband, Abdul, is like the Bible to me, when nations gather. And then the next book, Visits from the Dream State. And then the third book is Bury My Heart, It Wounded Me by Dee Brown. And then the fourth book is about Louis G. Gregory's life. I can't think of it, but it's by Williamson, T. Wiz. Anyway, those books are like informational Bibles to me. And I had the bounty to end up in Lame Deer, Montana. Lame Deer, Montana, there is a college called Dull Nice College, and you can look it up on the contraption, meaning the computer. They have a little museum in there, but let me tell you what is so fascinating. Some of those photographs are in the Smithsonian, and those photographs in that museum, in Lame Deer's Museum College, those people look like my people, my grandmother's people from Oklahoma and Texas on the reservation. And I was so shocked. I'm like, what? It was as though I was taken back in time, okay, that I could look at my people on the reservation in the museum. So just like Brother Kofi said, we're Indian. We were here already. I don't know where they made up this doggone story about entrapment, enslavement, and all of these variations. But you know what? Please put this in your peace pipe and drum smoke on it a minute. You know,
All
we
right.
might learn something. So that's my word. I'm just grateful to my parents who didn't abort me and allowed me to continue to be on this journey at this moment. Give thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Just one thing I'd like to add to that also, because we do hear a lot of divisions about who's African, who's Native, who's this and who's that. But then now that people are having DNA tests and they're finding out that they got people from Switzerland and Australia and New Zealand and Germany and all these things, that should tell us something. We get stuck on this idea of a very recent collective history that a group of people have had as if that defines us, and we cannot be defined according to one moment in time. So there's always going to be a dispute about identity as long as we are believing that we are one thing, when in fact we are living in vehicles that are made up of the substance of the earth, and the earth travels as the wind blows. It blows the dust. It blows the sand. It blows the waters. So we are made up of all parts of the earth from everywhere. That's what our bodies are made out of. That's what we're discovering because when you eat, you're eating from what comes from the earth, and that earth may have been from anywhere. So when we look at our genetic makeup and we look at what we think is ancestry, we're looking at a body that has been made up of many different parts from all over the earth. So at some point, as a human family, we have got to get to the consciousness that we are not the bodies we're currently living in. Because the next level of consciousness is that whatever body you're in and whatever parents produced you, this is not the only life you as a life force have lived. And so at some point, we get to the next level of learning that has been kept from us. And we'll talk about that on tomorrow's show. And we introduce some of our voices of enlightenment. But the understanding that even reproduction has been twisted to a point where we don't understand the act, and we've twisted it, made it shameful and fearful. And so we can't understand that we have had many life experiences inside of many bodies, which has given us insight into many different histories. And so when we claim an identity and separate ourselves from somebody else who appears to have another identity, we perpetuate this level of insane violence that we're now wondering, how do we get rid of? So that N-word, which we started out the conversation talking about, when they decided to call the native people the niggers, and they called the African imports the niggers, and they now calling Hispanic people niggers. You know, the whole thought is for a group of people to try to demean someone else using a word that's supposed to mean that you're substandard and hated by God. But we keep that going because we keep believing that we have to identify ourselves based on the body that we're in. So when we let it go, then everybody else no longer has power over us. We have to let that go. And we have to see our identity as an expression of God mind. That's who we are. No matter what body we're living in, that's who we all are. That's my thought. And the last comment, of course, is to give honor to a recent ancestor, our dear brother, Attorney Lewis Myers, who made his transition recently, a great mind among us who is now among the ancestors. And we must honor the lives of those who have enlightened us and empowered us with their works, because that's what each of us is here to do, is to make the world better by whatever gifts and talents we've been given during the time we've been given, so that the world is a better place. So let us all make that commitment to be that God mind and express our creativity while we're on this earth. That's my thought.
And thank you for sharing that thought. As Grandma said, it's not what they called you, it's what you respond to. So we have been responding to negative energy, and that negative energy has us programmed to even have the discussion over what other people think about us, what they say about us, and what they call us. Just to back up for a minute, Naima, give. You mentioned for tomorrow, Voices of Enlightenment. Let our viewers and listeners know the lineup for the rest of the week. Tuesday, Voices of Enlightenment,
and of course Wednesday. Well, of course, Wednesday I'm on, and we do our show on relationships with our other station, American Muslim 360, and co-host Kareem Hamid and Manira Habil. And we start off at 6 a.m. And, of course, if you want to join us, you can call in the number 515-605-9891 from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. And, of course, 7 a.m. we bring you on with the rest of the show and our regular Female Solution listenership. And so we'll be talking again, about the process of reconciliation when there is a conflict. And, sometimes people do decide after a divorce to remarry and try it again. So we'll discuss that again. And
that should be interesting.
Yes. And, of course, Thursday we've got Let's Talk About It with Maika, and she's got some great insight to share with us. And then on Friday, there's Health and Wellness with Beata, and we always get some great health news, some ways of natural healing. And we've been learning about how there's that body-mind connection and how physical illness is really a manifestation of our lack of emotional well-being and how we are literally making ourselves sick. And so, therefore, we can learn how to make ourselves well. And then, of course, on Saturdays, we have Women Entrepreneurs International with Be Love, always some great guests who are giving us insight on how to become financially self-sufficient. And then Sunday is Woman to Woman with Wanda Carter. And, Wanda's also got a television show, Woman to Woman with Wanda Carter, which comes on 9:30 p.m. on cable TV, Channel 19 in Chicago, and on Wednesdays and then at Thursdays at 4:30 p.m. on Channel 19 in Chicago. And you can access her online as well. And on Sundays, we got the simultaneous telecast of the radio program. And sometimes we're also live on Facebook on Sundays as well. So we look forward to you all joining us 7 days a week as we share wisdom. And again, tomorrow we've got some of our Voices of Enlightenment, and we're going to talk about that issue that always affects everybody, and that is our sexuality. How did the idea of our sexuality get hijacked and twisted by the early church to make it so that we are disempowered in using the most powerful energy on the planet, and how that has an impact even into what we consider our racial identity. So we'll talk about that tomorrow.
Can we back up for just a moment and go back to Wanda, Woman to Woman, Wanda Carter, 9:30 p.m. on Tuesdays on Channel 19, correct?
On Wednesdays at 9:30, Thursdays at 4:30 p.m. 9:30 p.m. Wednesdays.
Wednesdays at 9:30, Thursdays at 4:30. At 4:30,
yes.
Okay, and that's on Channel 19.
And that's on Channel 19. And her website, of course, is you can go to ccnewsmedia.org.
Repeat that again.
Go to ccnewsmedia.org. That's CCNEWSMEDIA.org.
CC, like carbon copy. CC News
right.
Media.
Right.
Media. CCNewsMedia.org. And very special thank you to all of our hosts here on the Female Solution for doing the work that you do, Wanda and Vieta and Maika Maika, and you, Dr. Naima, and the brother from the American Muslim community. I forgot the brother's name. Thank you all. What's his name?
And Kareem Hamid and Manira Habil with me on Wednesdays, and B-Love on Saturdays with Women Entrepreneurs International. So, yeah, we've got all days covered, and we'll be talking more about the app that we're going to have available very shortly, the on-air app that will enable you to get to our shows all day, every day. And we are going global with the Female Solution and giving all of our listeners around the world a chance to participate wherever they are, connected by phone. So you can walk around listening to and talking to our hosts on the Female Solution wherever you are. So we'll be talking about that in June.
That's awesome. And it is such an honor and a privilege to be on a roster of hosts who are radio hosts who are thinkers and not just going through the motion as in commercial radio. And that's not to say that people who still work in commercial radio are less than thinkers. It's just that at this point on this channel, we have the opportunity to not play music, which is all part of the programming, but to enlighten our listeners, to help them make better choices. And some of those choices I always remember Memorial Day as a very special time in my life, because my first book that I wrote, The Passion Principles, Pathways to Purpose, Power, and Profit, Mary Mitchell from the Chicago Sun-Times is in that book. And during the interview, I asked her a question about how she went from being a secretary. No, I asked her what was her journey, and she explained to me the way in which she became a columnist for the Chicago Sun-Times, and that was on Memorial Day, while everyone was at the party, at the family gathering, having fun, eating the barbecue and the potato salad and the spaghetti and the string beans and the corn and the black eyed peas, and don't forget the meat, the barbecue and the Polish and the hamburgers and the hot dogs, all that good stuff. While everybody was having fun, she stayed home that day. She stayed home and rewrote her resume, and that resume landed her a job at the Chicago Sun-Times, and here it is, 30 years later, she's still there, and she's making a difference in her word. And she was the only person of color, I'll put it, that was there, and probably still is the only person of color. There might be one or two more, but you know how that story goes. But I just wanted to share that with you. You know, what you do this day will make a difference 20, 30 years later. You may not think much of it, but it has consequences and repercussions. So think about what you're doing, what you're going to do today, and how will it affect you and your family and your community a few years from now. Will you drink? Will you drive? What will you do? So let's go to the phone lines. We've got time for one more call. Minister Plump on 773. Grand Rising, Minister Plump. Thank you for joining us on the Female Solution Monday Morning Mindfulness.
Well, yeah, shalom, assalamu alaikum, and grand rising to you, beloved Zelda Speeds, the 23 Queen on the Monday, doing her thing.
Thank you, Brother Plum.
Yeah, we're happy. You know, I'm a Vietnam veteran, so I'm part of the reason why we share this day, and success breeds success. And all Sister Naima, Latif, and all the sisters, you know, y'all are 23 Grand Rising team, you know. Y'all are really the 23 team. So happy Memorial Day. And I'm going to be out with family, business associates, and friends, and we're going to be doing our thing in the community. And we're going to be spreading peace, love, and unity in the community. pumping up Chicago, America, and the world, and we're going to be doing it in a plump style. A plump style is capital P-L-U-M-P. The P stands for peace. The L stands for love. The U stands for unity. The M stands for marketing, music, media, money, millions, and that's just a reflection of the M. And the P stands for people, prosperity, and perfection, and protection. Praise the Lord. Hallelujah. God is on the throne. Chosen children of God moving on. And we the 23 team. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
And we love you. Keep up the good work.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you listening. We appreciate all of our listeners. And this is the question I leave you with today. Where you are in life, what are some of the challenges that you're facing in your life, especially as it relates to the city of Chicago, and what role you play? Will you sit back and allow the current administration to do what it does and not even consider your opinion? If you're happy the way it is, remain that way. But if you want something different, you've got to do something outrageous. And one of the outrageous things that I did yesterday with my family for Memorial Day is we talked a little shop. We talked about the things that we didn't like about the schools closing in Chicago, about the fact that these red lights are keeping us. If you drive, it's a problem. You've got to pay tickets you can't afford. You can't afford to keep doing the things that you're doing if you want something different. And I spoke to the fact that we now have the opportunity to stop complaining and to put in some work. We can volunteer and make things happen, or we can sit back and watch things happen. So which kind of person are you? I have the honor and privilege of working with the 2019 mayoral candidate, Dr. Willie Wilson, and I urge you to get involved, to volunteer, because next Memorial Day, you have a choice of having what you had this year or have something next year that you help put in place. Remember the hashtags I am Willie Wilson, hashtag I am Dr. Willie Wilson, and please go to the website williewilsonformayor.com and get involved. Do something. We cannot sit back and allow this current administration to do what it is that they're doing. And don't complain to your neighbors. If you're not doing anything about it, then don't talk about it. Put your money where your mouth is. Thank you so much for joining us today on your Monday morning mindfulness, Higher Learning with Zelda Speaks, mindfulness stress relief session. You have made this day worth being here and sharing this information. And please go to Dr. Yaffa Bay's website. That's Yaffa, Y-A-F-F-A, Bay, B-E-Y, Dr. Yaffa Bay. There are so many videos there, and they're very long. Take them in strides, read them, listen to it when you can. Dr. Yaffa Bay, Y-A-F-F-A-B-A-Y. And this video was taken from Blacks Are the Real Ingenious People of USA, Stolen Identity, Frauds, and Lies. If you want to know the truth will find you. Be open and receptive to what you hear, because we have all been programmed. Every time you turn on the television, you are being programmed. You wonder why you wanted that Big Mac. Now you know. And you wonder why you...
Saudi Arabia.
It's time to go. Stay on purpose, stay empowered, stay tuned to your next Monday morning mindfulness with Zelda Speaks, the mindfulness stress relief coach. And visit me at zeldaspeaks.com, 312-409-6619. Make it a great day. Happy Memorial Day.